And as you breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath, as you remember, it is through the breath, as all things have an in-breath and out-breath. This in-breath and out-breath is the cycles that are beyond our human understanding. It is the great breath of Brahma and the great in-breath of Brahma that breathes into new creations and breathes in the ending of creations to breathe out new creations, an endless cycle that is eternal and limitless. And so this sacred in-breath and out-breath is part of that. And as we breathe deeply with the reverence and sacredness of what the breath truly is, the living creative force of all life. And it is in this sense of honor, this sense of sacredness and holiness, we find ourselves. We simply breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath because the very acknowledgement in its higher understanding brings forth that sacred radiance and illumination. And so the very air you breathe now is vibrant and accelerated in light and radiance and illumination. And so, beloveds, you breathe in this higher light of divine illumination and emanation of the divine. And as you breathe in this light and you breathe out this light, a great transformation begins as with ease and grace you move into the higher parts of yourselves, that all your seeking and your searching, in the following of your soul pulse, in the sensing of your mission and your purpose that has brought you here in this eternal moment, this eternal now. And you find you move into this higher octave of yourself, more integrated, more interrelated than in the past. For this connection has been weaving and integrating for a long time. And now, the barriers and the blockages, the distances are now less and more mutable. And so you find, as time upon time goes on upon a material world, that this now becomes an integrated part of your day-to-day existence upon the physical world, for you are no longer limited to its constrictions. You are no longer limited to the barriers. You are beyond that. And as such, it is a golden thread of dimensions that brings you into this solarity, to this anchoring of this beingness you find yourselves in the days to come. You can no longer look through the eyes of someone planted only upon the earth. For yes, you are upon the earth and you are here for the earth. It is an ancient commitment, a promise, a great clarion call. But you are not restricted to the earth, because where you come from, beloveds, is far more expansive in the cosmic waters of eternity, in the myriad of worlds and expressions of the divine of which you are a part. And as you walk this path to reconnect your cosmic memory, the great history from whence you have come, then no longer are you limited to the material world, but far, far beyond that, to bring forth the higher awareness, the higher thought forms, and the great cosmic history to the world. And so we find ourselves in this sacred moment, connected through hearts and minds, as a myriad of radiant ones come close, for they observe the beacon of light that we hold in higher service and the reconnection of our higher selves and our greater light bodies. And in great loving support, with great encouragement, all radiant ones from all streams of consciousness come, creating a singularity of purpose, of service. And as we continue to breathe this sacred breath, and it is indeed the breath that unifies this experience, breathing in light and exhaling light, breathing in light and exhaling light. And in this breathing in of light, this exhalation of light puts us in a sacred rhythm with the expansiveness of the breath and all of its manifestations on all levels of dimensions and realms and worlds, right to the source of the galactic, universal, and divine breath. And as we do this, as we sense the sacredness, the holiness, and the power of this experience, what comes into being are two great pillars of light, one on the left and one on the right. And these pillars of light are timeless. These pillars of light come from the Ancient of Days. And these pillars hold a great balance. they hold a great structure. We simply observe these magnificent pillars of light coming from the highest celestial realms of light, anchoring within our energetic field that so many radiant ones are holding for our benefit. And these two great pillars of light create a pathway, a door, an opening. And we simply remember to breathe our sacred in-breath and out-breath of light. For each inhalation and each exhalation amplifies our own electron spin, our own radiance and illumination as we expand more into our higher body of lights. And we now observe these pillars of light and see a great golden door. And somehow this vision brings back an ancient memory, an ancient cosmic memory, entering into a great portal of illumination and worlds. We simply stand before it and breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath. And now we can see that there is movement. There is movement. And this door, moving from the left to the right, begins to open, and we observe two radiant beings of light, the great guardians of this door, held by the balance of the pillars of light. And we understand the magnitude of this. And we are humbled as this great door begins to open. It is the door of great initiation. And we understand that we are now to walk in. And when we walk in, the first thing we see is a checkerboard flooring of great beauty and illumination as light emanates from it. And we notice within it, it has black and white squares, all perfectly checkerboard in perfection. And as we take our place within this great temple, we observe that there are many, many radiant ones around us, that we are somehow the guest. We are acknowledged. There is a great expectation. And so we walk in and we place one foot on the white square and the other on the black square. For we understand in this initiation that balance is required. And to work into the world we find ourselves, it is the balance that brings us forth into our greater abilities and power. And so we stand, one foot on the black square and the other on the white. And as we do so in the middle of where we are, supported by the myriad of radiant ones from all streams of consciousness, from the highest realms of light, that greet us with the greatest of expectation and a deep-seated joy. We begin to see another pillar, a pillar that begins to form from the highest realms of light in the middle of a circle we find ourselves in, ever holding the balance of the black and white square. And this pillar begins to form. And this pillar of light holds within it every color of the universe. Colors not known to us on a physical level. As we peer deeper into it, as our spiritual eyes can perceive this brilliance and radiance, our ability to see it and be a part of it. It holds the harmonics. It holds the geometries. It holds the tones and all the colors of the universe. And it is us being called to take this and keep it all in balance. And we see this as the middle pillar, the pillar where we find ourselves. And in this middle pillar, we draw from the extremes of the outer pillar to bring in the balance of all polarities into a singularity. And as this middle pillar continues to anchor more deeply, to radiate and illuminate from the higher emanations of the higher worlds, we are part of its illumination, as its brilliance cannot be contained. And its brilliance consumes us in a sacred communion, in a sacred marriage, in a sacred relationship, in a holy encounter. And as we hold our balance, the emanation of this living light that holds all things of creation in this universe continues to radiate and emanate this light of all colors, all geometries, all tones and harmonics. And it filters in and through our bodies of light, moving into the chakra system from our highest point into the chakra system of the visible and physical world, planting through our feet to the sacred heart of our beloved Earth Mother. And so we find that we serve as a great lightning rod, a great pillar to bring forth the highest codes of the universe, its memories, its story, its healing, its balance. And it moves through our light bodies into our physical bodies and into our Earth Mother, creating the highest heaven possible and our sacred Earth Mother and all of her life. And so we simply hold our positions as we now have become one with the middle pillar of light. And we serve as the sacred Trinity, the sacred triad, the great triangulation of unconditional love and limitless light. As we hold our positions as great Elohims, as divine sacred co-creators. And we hold this as we have it integrated into our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. As this sacred initiation imprints into our very DNA, into our atomic and subatomic levels, we bring it forth and anchor it to our sacred Mother Earth. And this spreads, this middle pillar, throughout the entire world, through all 7 expressions. It moves through the mineral kingdom, through the plant kingdom, through the animal kingdom, and it moves through the human kingdom. And we hold our positions as we serve as these great anchors to our world, to our sacred Earth Mother and all of her life. We hold the higher balance. We hold the polarities in balance. We anchor deeply the middle pillar, the pathway to the upper worlds. And we simply hold our positions as the sacred energies anchor more deeply in us and through us on a physical, mental, and emotional level, and onto our sacred Earth Mother. We serve as this great lightning rod of the middle pillar, bringing forth once again balance to heal, to grow, to integrate heaven and earth. We acknowledge all those radiant ones who have drawn near to hold this platform for us to do this sacred and holy work. And as we experience this sense of balance and peace within our being, as we make note of it, as we feel it, sense it, and know it, this higher level of balance, perfect balance, and anchored peace. As we feel it within ourselves, we can share it to others as we hold the imprint of this sacred balance and peace. Where we come as a calming influence upon an ocean of storms, as great avatars of light, and Jesus the Christ came to calm the seas, the emotional upheavals. We have the ability to do that, to bring anchored peace and perfect balance wherever we go, whatever we do, whatever we think. And as much as we would want to stay in this perfect balance and peace, in this higher experience of our higher selves, as once again we note the beauty and the magnificence of these great pillars of light, our great gratitude and humility to the guardians who have opened the door, knowing this initiation of great grace and honoring for us personally and as a collective. And we know that we must walk the path of love and righteousness with this power. And we know that we are not alone, but the myriad of beings of radiance that are with us on our walk and our path and our service. We feel the boundlessness of the love that pours over us, the great loving support and deep appreciation as we for them. And as much as we want to stay, we know the time has come to return, for there is much to do. And by that intention, the energies already begin to step down. And all those that are part of this experience begin to draw in their electromagnetic field as we begin to draw in ours. And as we see our great temple, the pillars of light and the door that open begin to recede and go back to its source. As we now prepare to be back into our physical, mental, and emotional bodies, knowing that this sacred initiation continues to work in the hours and perhaps even days to come. We prepare to bring ourselves back fully into our physical, mental, and emotional bodies by the count of 3. 1, 2. Take a very deep breath in. And 3, we are back, awake, alert, and very anchored.